When I'm telling people that I post a video every single day for now almost 2 months, I get a lot of questions, but most of it is like, how do you manage to have so many things to say? How do you come up with a topic every single day to talk about? Especially because I try to, when I post something, I try to get to a core ID and to have something very clear and to not repeat myself too much. So how do I do that? How do I have so many things to say? That's a lot of things. Um, mostly it's about the habit of like posting on the internet for a very long time. So there is some topic I'm reusing or like reforming, or I'm getting pretty used to speaking my mind on the internet. Before I was doing it mostly through my newsletter or some post here and there. So I'm just saying it. I'm just doing it verbally now. But the another idea I want to come across today that might be more core and more important is that one thing to understand is that IDs like movement, or rather the frequency is very important to getting ID. Basically what I mean, if you get the more often you get IDs, the more often you get IDs, the better it gets, the easier it is. Or more likely, the more open you become to new ideas, to have more things to share. Um, Basically, now I'm seeing more opportunity to produce, to not consume, but to create something, to create a video or talk my mind about something. Since I started this challenge, the more I do video, basically, the more I do videos, the more ideas I have. And actually, I have way more ideas than time to film them all, which is kind of crazy to think about it because I have one every single day. Uh, really, um, really before I would have, for example, I would be on YouTube, for example, and watching some content there, like a podcast or anything like that. And before it was only consuming. I wasn't really in that creating mode. That switch that you really need to turn on if you want to have like a lot of ideas for either videos or blog posts, social media posts, etc. Before I was only consuming passively and maybe trying to apply some advice to my own life, things like that, but I wasn't thinking of sharing them. And that's something that, thanks to these videos, thanks to my newsletter and other things like this, I have now, I'm more open to receive those ideas that were always there, but I was just not looking at them through the lens of opportunities to create. Basically, that's a long winded way to say, well, you need to get in movement. Basically, if you don't feel like you have many ideas for things to think about, is because you are not in movement. You are not. It's very hard to be creative when you're just like staring at a blank page and not doing anything. I think instead, if you want to get your foot into it, it will be, for example, reformulating, changing the wording of something you've consuming, for example. So actually, if you look back, the first few videos, not the very first one, but for the some of them, I was directly referencing another thing that very impacted me, and that's really helping, especially because you have your own frame of reference, you have your own experience that you can add into it, and that makes it very worthwhile to share with people because there's so much content of there, so many ideas that repeating or like reformulating some ideas from other places is really not bad, and it's something that everybody does, and it's something that every artist does, if you think about it. The um, sorry. So what I want to get across is that get open to these ideas, get open to being inspired to anything you come across, and that's something I'm very driven by. Like, for example, when you have strong emotion when watching something, like, oh man, that's wrong, or that's not the way to look at it, or oh, that's very interesting, that could be applied to another domain, etc. Working from emotion works very well, and working from especially if you want to not just repeat but add your own view onto it, and also working from conversation because you have the not you have the randomness of like what the other person is going to bring to you, and that could bring more insight, basically. So working from inspiration is great, but you don't always have the inspiration when you are actually filming. Maybe you are very inspired when you are stuck in traffic on the way back home, like I always am. I always am. But if you cannot film there, it's not very useful. So how do you keep the inspiration? But basically, you take notes. And I have a little document here that I'm referring to because it's where I write the outline that I want to say, etc. Like some ideas. I have a lot of them. Most of it I will not film ever, probably, because if you keep an idea stale for too long, you're not connected to it anymore. And that's something I talk about in another video, but that's a surefire way to let your idea dies, is to let them stale for too long. So you must act fast. Like I said, ID like movements. So creating, writing, filming will bring you more ideas and will make you more open to other things like this. So that's my main idea. That's what I've learned about how to get ideas for posting every single day or more. And that's makes me feel that really I will never run out of of things to say. Another thing I would like to touch on, that ideas are not scarce. There is a ton of them out there. Even if you don't want to repeat what other people have said, well, first of all, you might, with your own original idea, you might come up with the same conclusion as other people have come up before. So how original are you then if you don't know if you don't know about this other person? But also, for example, if you are in a niche where you want to help people, that's something that kind of blew my mind. If you are helping people, for example, I know Jeff Walker, for example, it's a big inspiration for this aspect specifically. Basically, he has a course on launches. So basically, how to launch a product. That seems like a very simple idea, and he actually give everything away for free on his YouTube channel, and like many content he posts online. He has a very expensive course, but he also has a book which is very cheap and that has everything in it actually, which is kind of insane. And the reason why he does that is because once you solve a problem, you basically unlock a new one. So, for example, if you teach someone how to learn to play guitar, now first of all, they will take a while until they are like extremely good, but then they will probably want to compose their own music once they get good at actually playing. And once they compose their own music, they might want to make a career out of it. So there, it's you make a concert, you make an album, how to promote yourself online, etc. Basically, from this single problem, from solving it, you unlocked a lot more problems to solve. And I think it's a very, very interesting idea because the more I talk, the more I increase the surface of the thing I can talk about, basically. So that's really that's almost how do you say that, vertiginous to think that, yeah, the more I talk, the more and the more I learn. You can also see it like that. The more I learn, the more I discover things I can learn about. And that's the exact same thing about producing ideas, is that the more idea you have, the more you're pushing the boundaries of what you can conceive, what the world can conceive, well, the more ideas you are able to create. And I don't know, that's just very cool. That's just very cool that we live in a world that has this feature where the more that makes me very excited about learning, because there are obviously new things coming up, but the more you learn, even if it was stale, even if knowledge was finite, which is not, you will never get run out of it because there is so many aspects you can go through and you're only seeing a small fragment if you really think about it. That's at least the idea I want to come across today. So will I ever run out of things to say? No, never. Probably not. I saw actually the reason I'm making this video is that's funny, very funny that I got the idea like this, is to have there is another channel, I forgot the name, I'm very sorry, but basically that was doing a bit of something similar of what I'm doing. So they were talking about live things and they were like giving advice, etc. They were doing it over Ocarina of Time gameplay. If you want to look it up, I forgot the name once again. I might put it in the description if I remember. But what they came up with at the very end was to say, "Oh, this channel is over. I said everything I needed to say. and I don't have anything more to say. I had a list of topics I wanted to go through, and it's done now. So bye. Which I think, which I think it's very okay for them to, for this person to decide to not continue. I think that's very okay. But that gave me the bit of a itchy feeling of like, wait, how can you be done? How can you be done talking about life? Because there's always so much to learn about it. So that's really what prompted me to then make this video. I hope you enjoyed it. That's let's wrap things up. So yeah, if you want to have more ideas, get in movement and get inspired by anything that can come across. Get yourself really open to those ideas. Listen more, consume less. That's what I want to. I really want you to take away from this video, and take some notes if you want, if you need to keep the inspiration for a bit longer, but don't wait too long or else you're just gonna forget about those ideas. Thank you for listening to me today. Sorry if I was a bit if I had trouble breathing like this, but I hope you understand what I'm coming at, where I'm coming at, and hopefully this will apply also to your life, whatever you're creating. But if you need more ideas, that's basically how you do that. That's what I had to learn the hard way. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you tomorrow.